You know, Lisa and I are doing 2 of these practices in a row. It's basically a Monday, Wednesday, Friday practice, as we quickly learned that if we didn't do 2 at a time, we'd never get through these because we can't practice daily. It just doesn't work for both of us to practice every day. So we're practicing 2 a day, at least through the recording here. And Lisa's going through 1 a day on your own practicing. But Lisa was just commenting between these 2 sessions that she's been through the Avita yoga teacher training. She's been a long-time student, and she just was commenting on how potent these shapes are. And they are potent. Please be reminded that you don't have to stay in the shapes as long as I might suggest. When in doubt about a shape, you reduce pressure or you release yourself from the shape sooner than later. Okay? With practice, everything comes. Lesson number 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Have a seat on the bolster and have your right leg in front of the left. This shape is called Sukhasana. And the leg that is closest to you, in this case, the left leg and the left foot, needs to be parallel to the end of the mat. So we don't pull the heels in close. That's part of the pattern that we want to begin to change. So we move the heels out a ways. We practice letting the knees drop. Your shape could look like this. Your shape will not look like mine. It will not look like Lisa's. Okay, so we all are practicing the same shape. We're practicing the same workbook lesson. We're hearing the same words. You're hearing the same cues. But we each have our own personal journey that we have to respect as we go through this process. Look at your shape with beginner's mind, knowing that we bring the past into everything that we do. You can smile upon that and say, for this moment, I'm going to have beginner's mind. I'm going to forgive the past. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to be here now, to use Ram Dass's timeless words. Be here now. Slowly curve forward. Feel the changes in your body. Feel the sensations that come as you curve and let your head and torso come forward. The spine flexes. The hip bone rolls over the head of the femur. The hands come out toward the floor. There is no pushing the shape. There's no pulling the shape. It's simply being the shape and letting it work for you. Now keep your eyes closed. Slowly raise up. Nice. Come back to the wall or to an upright shape. See if you can keep your eyes closed. Stay inside. Change the cross of your legs. And first feel for the shape. The right shin more parallel to the end of the mat. Sometimes this room is full of students, and each gently tasked with doing their practice, not somebody else's. If you have to open your eyes and get a visual check, so be it. Maybe you need to look at your computer screen and just see if you have the basic idea of the shape. Slowly curve forward. We will be slowly and thoughtfully advancing these shapes, adding variety, maybe adding time, maybe adding a little pressure, a little complexity. But always coming back to the basics. It's the basics that evoke the change. In fact, if your yoga practice suddenly becomes non-basic, then it's advancing too quickly. Now, in the shapes, we watch, we learn to gently observe the sensation. We don't try to advance the shape, we don't try to fix anything. We simply come into the shape, follow the cues, and we learn the difference between responding kindly and lovingly and appropriately to the sensation versus reacting to it. We might say that response comes from a place of love and kindness. A reaction is quick and more judgmental and tends to come from a place of fear. And if we react to a shape, that's okay. We soon catch ourselves reacting, and we gently switch over, transition, first in this practice and then in our lives. Response over reaction. Slowly raise up. Okay. Good. Now just observe. Observe the feelings. Observe the sensations. There's no need to try to figure out if I'm bringing the past into this moment. Don't try to figure that out. It already told us that we do. Don't try to fix that. Above all, don't try to understand it. And now shift forward so your head is supported on the bolster, your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. Arms at your sides. Interlock your fingers under your head, just under your head, and bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees drop to the sides. Now the shape itself it has to be influenced by the past, but we don't need to figure that out. Can you observe the shape and observe your body in this present moment beginning to reconcile the past. Now, what does that mean? That means adjusting to any feedback that happens in the groin or the back of the hip, any cramping in some of the upper outer muscles of the thigh. And if there's anything about this shape that's too strong or too intense, you hold the knees up a little bit. The question you might ask right now, is it safe to let my knees drop, to be passive in this moment? It's a genuine question met with a genuine answer. We practice from a place of deep self-respect and kindness, which doesn't come readily for many. There's no pushing the shape and healing at the same time. Now slowly, simultaneously, bring your knees together, feet flat on the floor. That's nice. Release your hands, find your strap. Open your strap up and bring the strap around the ball of the left foot. As we did last time, extend your leg up and out so that the left knee is the same height as the right knee. Press them ever so slightly, slightly. Bring the toes towards you. Flex the ankle, push the heel away. Feel this stretchy quality in the back of the calf and the heel tendon, maybe even through the sole of the foot. Keep the knee straight. Now, you may sustain this shape right here. The next cue is slowly bring the leg closer to you, but don't bend the knee. Don't stop flexing the ankle. Nothing about the shape needs to be maximized. We just have an all-inclusive approach. If the knee starts to bend, then lower back down and get the knee straight again. Little tiny microns of movement make a difference here. So A Course in Miracles is a non-compromising approach, which I'll talk more about that later as time goes by. Avita Yoga is a non-compromising approach to working with the body. So we're going to take a non-compromising approach into the knee. Keep it straight. Only advance the leg coming closer to you if the knee is absolutely straight. And if you happen to be a flexy person, do not go past vertical. If you happen to be a flexy person, then the leg is strong, the knee is straight, the heel is moving up toward the ceiling, and you're feeling for your bones. Find your way into your bones. Don't keep targeting muscles. Okay, release your foot to the floor. Put the strap on the ball of the right foot. Take a rest on your hands if you need to, no big deal. Your hands and your arms will be able to sustain this shape for a long, surprisingly long period of time. This is actually a reflex, not a strengthening thing. It's a reflex that's being called back in. It's a healthy reflex. You'll learn to drop your shoulders. We're going to use the hands in this way in lots of different shapes to transfer stress from your neck and shoulders to your hands where it can be discharged. It's not going to happen all at once, so pace yourself. Once you have the knee straight, then you bring the leg just bit by bit closer to you. That's good. Excellent. Heel away, toes to you, straighten the knee. Feel down into the hip, up through the heel. The sensation may be strong in the knee and the upper calf, but you feel safe and you feel confident with it. Squeeze your muscles in your thigh close to the bone. Head heavy, jaw relaxed, forehead serene. The work is in your hands, the work is in your leg. Bend your knee, release, set the strap aside. Good. Now bring the right knee toward the right shoulder. Interlock your fingers over the knee. If it's readily reachable. If not, then you go behind the thigh. And slowly, left knee, left shoulder, eyes closed, sink into the shape. Don't push, don't force. Make it sustainable. I'm going to read to you. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. This idea is, of course, the reason why you see only the past. It says no one really sees anything. If we see the past, and the past doesn't exist, then we must not see anything. And then it says he sees only his thoughts projected outward. Holy cow, what a statement. By the way, the Course it's written in the masculine because it would be monotonous to constantly say he, she. So if the formality of the masculine is irritating in any way, forgive it. Let the words be helpful. He sees only his past thoughts projected outward. The mind's preoccupation with the past is the cause of the misconception about time from which your seeing suffers. Your mind cannot grasp the present, which is the only time there is. It therefore cannot understand time and cannot, in fact, understand anything. Wow, what a paragraph. Release your knee, lower your foot to the floor. Bring the right knee toward the right shoulder. If reachable, interlock your fingers over. Relax your belly, relax your legs, sink into the shape. I had a 72-year-old student from the last class that I connected with for a while after the class, and checking in, he said, yeah, all my friends are in their 70s. All my friends are dealing with two things. They're dealing with the tragedies of the world today, and they're dealing with the tragedies and traumas in their bodies. And that's all we're doing. We're dealing with those two things. This will sound absurd, it will sound crazy, but one of the primary aims, the primary objectives of the workbook lessons is to gently learn the inner and outer are the same. Think back to the previous lesson. My thoughts are images I have made. And this line, we see only our past thoughts projected outward. And the ego will get a hold of that concept and it can bring intense blame or guilt, because it's easy to read this and take responsibility for the way things are in form. But it's not asking us to do that. We don't take responsibility for the way things are in form, but we gently begin to take responsibility for the way we perceive it. That's the miracle. Lower your foot to the floor. Bring your arms out to a T shape, palms up toward the ceiling. And extend your legs out. Have a little space between your legs. Let your feet flop to the sides. Turn your head to the right. I find this next paragraph, the last part of the second paragraph, particularly intriguing and very, very motivating to practice. It basically says, because the mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, and because the past does not exist, then the mind is actually blank when it thinks about the past. And then it says, very few have realized what is actually entailed in picturing the past or in anticipating the future. Because it is not really thinking about anything at all. What a waste of time it is to conjure up the past and worry about it. The mind is actually blank when it does that. Then it says, the purpose of the exercise for today is to begin to train your mind to recognize when it is not really thinking at all. While thoughtless ideas preoccupy your mind, the truth, your peace and happiness, is blocked. Recognizing that your mind has been merely blank, rather than believing that it is filled with real ideas and important concepts, is the first step to opening the way to true vision. Slowly turn your head through to the left. Feel the turn. Observe the sensations that come with the turn. Increase the turn a little bit to the left and then rest heavy. And then one might say to themselves, I might say to myself, if my mind is preoccupied with the thought, with the past, and the past doesn't exist, then when I conjure up the past, I complain about something from the past, I open my eyes and I'm seeing only the past, I'm really thinking nothing at all. I'm blocking my awareness to my true self, happy and whole. And if I can begin to join with my happy, whole self, and if my thoughts are projected or extended outward, then I can expect my world, the world I see, to change. And that is the road less traveled. That is the healing that the world we see wants. It begins with us. The more I point my finger, the more seemingly real I make it. Bring your head back to the center and release your arms to your sides. When you're ready, roll on to one side and push yourself up. Find a comfortable seat. I'm inspired to close with these words, these timeless words from Gandhi. He said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And to most people, that really doesn't make any sense until you realize that it's our thoughts projected outward that make the world. So we withdraw the projection, we go inside, and we start to be present. We move inside from a place of fear to a place of love, from a place of upset to a place of peace and lasting presence. As an outer symbol of that inner change, the miracle that moves us toward a different teacher in heart and mind. Bring your hands to your heart. Namaste.